Now, when I was a kid, I loved watching the Sunday night television series, The FBI, with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. Each episode was based on real case files from the FBI. Most of us who are baby boomers grew up with an image of the FBI as the top cops, both in their professionalism and in their adherence to the rule of law. It was, after all, the FBI who enforced civil rights protection for people of color during what would become the end of the Jim Crow era. And when local law enforcement maybe looked the other way or even actively participated in crimes that were committed by true racists against people of color, it was the FBI who would reliably and justly apply the law. So it's been very disappointing to see this once outstanding and sterling institution diminished by partisan power politics. In the past few years, we've seen the FBI caught in outright lies in order to obtain Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA warrants, to spy on then-candidate and ultimately President Trump, as well as spying on some of his staff members. We've seen an over-the-top abuse of power in the pre-dawn, guns-blazing arrest of Roger Stone, and more recently, the search warrant executed on Rudy Giuliani's home and office, in which heavily armed agents confiscated all of the computers, the phones, and the files in Rudy's possession, some of which, by the way, contain privileged attorney-client information. That's hands off because it violates a fundamental principle of American justice, that being that any person is entitled to privileged communication with his or her attorney. Professor Alan Dershowitz is a liberal Democrat. He's a supporter of Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, but he is also an esteemed law professor emeritus at Harvard Law and indisputably one of the nation's premier constitutional scholars. He has forcefully condemned the heavy-handed actions of the FBI, even suggested that a simple subpoena would have been the proper way to obtain information from the former New York mayor, who was also a former federal prosecutor and an attorney for Donald Trump. The FBI has performed numerous early morning guns-drawn searches and arrests in relationship to the January 6th Capitol riots. No one I know, and I mean no one, defends the January 6th storming of the Capitol by some unarmed knuckleheads. But it's hard to understand why there has been no similar interest in going after the violent Antifa thugs who attacked policemen, set fire to public and private property, looted stores and businesses, and viciously attacked law-abiding citizens on public streets in places like Portland, Minneapolis, Seattle, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and many other major cities. The FBI knew from the beginning that Donald Trump didn't collude with Russia, but they doctored documents that were then presented to a FISA court in order to smear and destroy supporters of Donald Trump. Classified documents were leaked from high-level FBI officials. They were leaked to the press. That's clear violation of federal law. Yet most all of those caught red-handed, they were never arrested, are punished, are fired. In fact, many of them collect a taxpayer-funded pension right now. Now, if the FBI can trample the rights of elected officials, including a sitting president, then what do you suppose they can do to you? Folks, it's time for a house cleaning at the Department of Justice and the FBI. But I doubt it'll happen under the current administration because the FBI has shown no interest, even curiosity, about the Hunter Biden laptop or his shady but rather lucrative business dealings with the Chinese or the Ukrainians. But it needs to matter to you because when formally respected law enforcement agencies like the FBI can break down your door at 5 a.m., surround your family with fully automatic weapons, and gather up all your personal property and then frog march you while you're in your pajamas to a police van, all while a tipped-off crew from CNN records it on video, then it's no longer law enforcement. It's law weaponization and an abuse of power. And folks, that is not how America is supposed to work. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.